Welcome to the PTMA Podcast. One thing before we get started, I've noticed we have bugger all reviews on our podcast. And to say that there's seven of you listening every week.
To say that we are the leading fitness business podcast in the industry.
So before we go any further, stop and write us a bloody review. All right. Cheers and thanks.
Yeah, we do need to do. We should maybe offer an incentive.
Do a review and we'll continue recording podcasts. Don't do it.
Why Sky not here?
I don't know. She's off again, isn't she?
That girl, man.
Me.
Hey, tell you what, she's got the life of Riley. It was right.
Question 1. Best online content tools.
No, that's not question 1.
I know, but I'll skip past that one.
Why? It adds personality. Like, why do you do that? It adds personality. It's better than just talking about fucking online content tools all the time. You know what I mean?
Quality Street, Rosie Celebrations, and which of the three are your favourite box?
I don't know the difference between them all, but why isn't HYROX on there?
I don't know what that is either.
Come on now. Come on.
Don't know the difference. What's the
So
one?
Is this why you didn't ask the question? Because you don't know the answer?
Yeah.
That's not fair, is it?
Well,
just because you don't know, don't mean I don't want to be involved in this.
It's all about me, isn't it?
Well, clearly.
I'm the host.
Right, listen, let's have a serious conversation about this. Here's how we'll separate them, right? So if we look at this and go, Quality Street, Roses, let's get Quality Street out of the equation. I just don't think they're nowhere near. Roses, right? Remember Roses, don't you? Blue box.
No, I know that I can picture the things, but I don't know what sweets are in what.
Well, the strawberry ones are, come on, like you can't beat them. But I reckon you're like a coconut type guy, aren't you? You're one of them guys who will eat the Bounty. Like in my house, the Bounties are always left last. Yeah. And the Snickers. You'll eat the Bounty, won't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were that type of guy. Mad.
What type of guy?
Just the guy who eats the ones that no one likes, basically. So it's Bounties and Snickers that are normally left in them. Anyway, HYROX are better, and she's not mentioned them. So we'll have HYROX, right? I might get, if anyone listens to this, people might batter me for that. In fact, I'm going to go out on my stories with a talking point on that today. There we go. Next question. I'll ask you the next question, seeing as though you want to be Mr. Serious today. Oh, it's not fucking. What are the best online content tools?
Any more context there?
I think it's to help with. Yeah, I think it's to help with content. I don't know, mate. But I tell you what I do know is that Jotform keeps logging us out left, right, and centre, so I can't keep it.
I'm guessing like software.
Yeah, probably.
So, what saved us, Christ knows how long, is what we're using to record this is Riverside. Riverside's very good. So I think I was talking about this, and this may help, right? Is to get a bit of a kind of marketing / content process or ecosystem going. I think is really important. And I've talked about this last week to quite a few of the guys. A lot of people, I think, would benefit from doing content creation from long form to short form instead of just trying to pick away at short form content, because ultimately your short form, your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook is the window into your business to bring people into long form, whether it's a podcast, whether it's emails, whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's, resets and all that kind of palaver. And I think sometimes when you start trying to just do individual pieces of content, that it's sometimes broken and doesn't flow. Where I think, for example, I'm not saying you should do this, but we start our week with a Q&A from the questions from the clients we work with, who are the people we want to work with in the future. And this creates like a cornerstone of what emails we will write, how we will chop up some of the relevant bits that are sticking out for short form content video wise. And sometimes, and actually a lot of the time, helps us create lead magnets and front end offers and all sorts of stuff. And I think it's starting from here. So we start bigger, and then, for example, this anywhere 30 to 60 minute podcast, and then break that down, because that is all the relevant things that our potential clients want to know, probably asking the same questions at the same point, want the same things. So I think from a process, I think a lot of people get a lot of benefit. Not everyone, but I think a lot of people get a lot of benefit from doing it that way versus picking away at short form content, trying to get lots of views and likes. So Riverside is one, basically. ChatGPT is another, on how to organize it, how to spark some new angles, so forth and so forth. Deliver the information to us in an easy way. So yeah, I would go with that.
I'm doing it on my phone because it keeps logging me out on the thing.
Do it on the phone because it's logging me out every second.
The next question was, how do you unwind? So I'll answer that to myself.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have anything where I go, that helps me unwind. In terms of intent behind it, I know a lot of people will go, I don't know, they'll have a routine behind that, or they would read, or they would walk and listen to a podcast, or they would do, I don't know, stretch, meditation or whatever. I don't really have anything, right? Apart from, I like to be busy. And therefore, when I shut off and try to unwind away from work, it's distracting with just a hobby or something that I'm interested in. So the thing that distracts me and that I'm interested in is football and football coaching and all of that type of stuff. So to help me unwind, for me, it's training it early in the morning. And to help me unwind, it's me be completely distracted from the day-to-day stuff by going to coach a load of anything between 6 and 13-year-olds who don't give a shit about how stressful your day is and all of that. That really helps me unwind. I have fun. I have a laugh. And yeah, it helps me. And even though it's still kind of stressful at points, it keeps me busy and it helps me unwind from the day-to-day stuff. So I don't really have anything really that I sit there and go, this helps me relax. Yeah, I probably should, but I don't. What about you?
Training, definitely. Coaching, definitely. Little projects, that helps me unwind.
You like the house projects, don't you?
Yeah, I like having a project on. That helps me unwind because it takes me completely out of work. Getting out, like a bit of a goal is to go somewhere. This year is to at least one weekend every month is to go and do a new place in regards to like hiking or walking. So definitely that as well.
Yeah, I need to do more of that. There definitely needs to be something within my week that goes, all right, this is dedicated to you just not being fucking busy. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Okay. Next one was a good question. I think it's me to you, isn't it? What do you think your strengths are as coaches or mentors, and do you agree with each other's?
Strength is, I think, definitely, I think listening. I think that's one of my strengths. What would yours be?
It's funny, isn't it? Because we've just done a load of this on the Myers-Briggs stuff, and you would think that you then have this list of things, and I did it with Chris Bodman, didn't I, as well? I think the biggest thing that come out of me was how, I think it anchors off the back of your listening, how I really seek to understand a person and their situation and their environment and what they're up against and what their strengths are. I think that single, I like to really know and understand about a person. And then that gives me, I'll say this as like a second strength, is knowing when to push and pull. I think from a coaching perspective, for me, is a big strength of mine. Don't get me wrong, I can probably overdo the push because it becomes natural to me. But I think knowing when to push and pull a person within that coaching process, and I know the majority of the time I aim to pull that information from them so they can act on that themselves. Sometimes we need to push a little bit. So I think having that kind of strength, I think, helps me in this role and has done for years. And I've tried to really work on that as well. So yeah, I would say that's potentially the one. And I would say I agree with, you've got the ability to, which is a real good strength, by the way, to really listen and understand and then ask the right question to get people to remove the emotion out of the conflict maybe that they're having. I think that's a good strength of yours that more coaches and mentors need, because it's very easy, especially for you coaches listening to this. Let's say, for argument's sake, if a client is emotional about not getting a result or not seeing what they want and all of that, is to really obviously meet that person where they're at that level, slow the conversation down and get them to reflect a little bit and take the emotion out of it. But I think that comes quite natural to you, which is a big strength. So well done, Nick. Well done on that.
Thank you.
None that you agree with there, no mine. Cheers, mate. See you in a bit. Yeah, thanks very much. Fucking brilliant, innit? You know what I mean? I'm trying to be nice for once, and this is what I get. Next question.
If you were running a small group PT studio, what would you 100% make sure was in place to create the best service possible for your client?
Really good. Where to start with this so I don't go off on a tangent? I think the first point would be a real good, this kind of anchors off the back of what I've just said, a really good process of understanding the individual. It's really easy when you open up a studio or a small gym that when you grow, you start to lose sight of the individual. And you've got to think, especially this person in question, that you've built an amazing business off the back of knowing people really well. And that can soon grow quite quickly when you're working with 30, 40, 50 people and you lose, it becomes semi-personalised, which is small group, I suppose. But I think having a unique ability within your facility to be able to still understand each individual, what's important to them, and knowing the route that they're going in is a real skill for any small private gym owner. I think it's super important too. Don't neglect, as a small gym owner, the importance of them conversations as well with people, like on the gym floor in regards to, I don't know, how is X partner, how is this partner, how is your kids, how is this person or whatever. Like, don't neglect that because that's super important. But in regards to, from a service perspective, it wouldn't be too different to what you would offer in small group now. So really understand the person, make sure that each person are clear on their future paced kind of goals and the plan that they're working towards. I think the reward and the community element is massive from a service perspective. I know this person's got the community element boxed off really well, but having some element of like levels to what it is that you do in a small group. So there's a level of people can build competition and competence and all of that really helps any demographic. I think that really helps. And to touch on the point of community, bringing them people together as frequent as possible. Obviously, you're doing your small group sessions, whether it's like your game days, whether it's a mini HYROX, whether it's a nutrition element, bringing them together as much as possible, I think is super important. I would say that they're the things off the top of my head that I would put in place and work well for me in the past. What makes a real difference in a member's eyes is that personalisation, and I think it goes such a long way in retention. And it's easy to lose sight of when you're growing quite quick. So they were the things off the top of my head. What have I missed there, Nick?
Yeah, we'll keep it to that. I think that was a good answer.
Thanks.
Being
very nice to each other today, aren't we? Fucking hell, what's going on?
Rate the health clubs, gyms in the UK. Rate most commercially 5 down to your number 1 for best training experience, atmosphere and location to PT app.
Oh, okay.
Do the same for bespoke, smaller one-off gyms, 5 to 1. Provide your reason for each gym, health club.
We can do it for commercial gyms, but we can't really do it for smaller private gyms because there's so many of them. It's your question anyway. So if you were to put all of the commercial gyms on the table and go, this is where I would recommend people to go and why, what would you do?
Honestly, like, I think I group them into 2 different ways. You've got pure gyms, your gym groups, your JDs, your Everlast, what am I missing? Jet, what am I missing? Which one?
Everyone Active, that type of stuff.
Yeah. To PT app, I genuinely don't see, they're all similar-ish models, right? I genuinely believe that you will look out and it will make a difference. The biggest difference is probably the people and the management running that individual club versus one's got looks a little bit better, a bit brighter, a bit different colours. This one's got kit. That one hasn't got this type of kit. This one runs this type. They're all very similar. It's not to bag on them at all, but I think your experience will be made by the people around you and the management when you go in there, unless you're paying rent. If you're just paying solid rent straight off, not doing hours, honestly, location, volume would be my top priority, because anything else is, I don't think there's much difference between them apart from the people in there that make it. I think down from that to PT app, from there, I mean, David Lloyd, it's got its merits, that kind of model, but you're always going, if you want, for example, David Lloyd, if you want a little bit more chilled out, if you don't like working for yourself, if you're poor at, taking on the business elements, David Lloyd's a great option. It is for some people because, you've still got to build your business, but a hell of a lot of it's taken care of because of the nature of the actual model. So that's good for some people to PT at, not for everybody. And then I think you can then kind of go your gym boxes, those types of places where, from an educational standpoint, from a trainer point of view, you're talking probably the better of the lot. But there are cons to that as well, in regards to rent, in regards to the revenue splits, but the training's incredible. Like, they really invest. Who am I missing now?
Not Gymbox isn't the one that provides the most amount of education. What's that one called in central London that are really good at coach education?
Oh, sorry, no, I meant Third Space.
That's it.
Yeah. No, sorry, Third Space. But
that's
Gymbox
like
is
top end for coach education, isn't it?
Yeah, really, yeah. And then I don't think you could take off the table UP as well, also performance.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
If you look at listen, it's not for everybody. There's a certain type of trainer that goes there, a certain type of clientele. But Christ, the business model, they've been around for how long? Produce great trainers in their own right. And for the right trainer, a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You've raised a pretty decent point there at the start in regards to saying it's very much dependent on the management team and
Yeah, I think it is massively.
And the people there. And you should, as a coach, vet that. Like, in a sense of going, what would I want from a management team or people there? Because there'd be some people, I'm a bit like this, where I'd go in and go, I don't really give a fuck about them. I'm just going to go into rent and I'm going to build my business and that's it. I don't care what they're like. And there will be some of you listening to this and go, yeah, that's me. I get that. But your environment will dictate how you feel and operate in that. There's no getting away from it. It'll eat away at you at points. So you've got to have some level of criteria to go, if I go in rent in this gym, I have a talk to the manager, and do I get a good vibe from them and the assistant manager? Or have they got a high churn, constant high churn? Why is that? What's the reason for that? Is there other rent PTs? I'd be looking at that and going, and I would rather go into a gym with 2, 3, 4, 5 other rent PTs than go into a gym that hasn't got any.
Yeah,
because some people might look at that and go, that's an opportunity. Well, it is, but in a lot of senses, in them gyms, it's an opportunity that's happened because of a high level of churn. And that's, for me, doesn't give me a great level of confidence in going, the reputation of coaches in this gym isn't great, right? So if I'm going to a gym where there's 3, 4, 5 other rent PTs, some of you will look at that and go, nah, I might as well go to the one with 0. I'd go against that and go, actually, they must be fairly decent. Not because they're rent PTs, because these new.
Well, you have a culture, don't you?
Of course you do.
When I took over Cardiff years ago, it was a pure gym. The culture was like, issues happened, but like you build that kind of culture of, and we had up to 20 PTs in that gym, and I think 7 were on rent, and they created this, culture, being PTs accepting, just grow, like on the surface, you might, Christ, it's really hard to get, but no, it breeds that culture.
It actually becomes quite strange not to have a coach, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Like everyone, if you went in on like a 6, I used to train first thing in the morning before starting the managerial shifts. I would say most mornings, every PT, like you had 10 to 20 people being personal trained in there, which was sick.
That was another great point. Like, in regards to, I remember when I used to walk into gyms, in pure gyms, and I used to message you at, say, let's say I'd gone into 6 o'clock in the morning, I used to message you in the morning and go, there's not one fucking PT in here coaching anyone. So I knew straight away the culture of that gym. You know it like that, don't you? Whereas you walk into I don't know, I used to walk into, I think of one off the top of my head, but where I'd walk in, there's 4 or 5 coaches at 6 o'clock in the morning, and like you could see the reputation was decent from a coaching perspective. So yeah, I think that's where most coaches go wrong. They see opportunities in the wrong places, don't they, when they're looking for gyms. Fairly good question, but the private one's a difficult one to say because there's so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, the I think March on sticks out, doesn't it?
A million mile. Next question. Is it? I don't know whose it is. What have you got planned for PerformX? Are you guys there one day or both?
5 days. So anyone who doesn't know, PerformX is the kind of educational expo for PTs, online coaches, gym owners in the UK, and it's we've been talking there since 4 years.
This is the fourth.
Yeah, so since they started, which has been brilliant for us, and it's a great event. And this year the tickets are free, which is insane. So yeah, we're there both days. We're doing 4 talks. We're doing a workshop one, which is something we're really excited about in regards to, like, it's not just a talk. We're going to be helping you build your marketing campaign together. So it's very much workshop based. We've got another talk, which is creating a world-class client journey in 2026. We've got a wicked coaching one, which is coaching blind spots and doubling your adherence. And then we have like a little bit of like a panel type where behavior change and business, where should you be spending your time? So there's going to be like a little bit of a panel. So we've got 4 talks over the 2 days. Plus, we're going to be doing some other bits and pieces on our stand up. So yeah, looking forward to it. 4 or 5 weeks away. Yeah. So in fact, I'll pop a link in the description for people to get their free tickets. It's a class 2 days.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Do people ever actually balance every aspect of this job?
Takes a while. Takes a long time. It can be done quicker depending on your expectations and what you want from it. But in a lot of cases, not for a while. And balance as a term when you run a self-employed business is something probably to throw away, because I think we've talked about this quite a lot. You'll gain balance in the seasons as long as you're organised. The problem is that most coaches aren't organised. They're quite reactive. So it always feels like there isn't no sense of balance constantly, whereas you can go through seasons of balance. So in regards to do people ever actually balance every aspect of the job well? Yes, they do. It takes time. But what you've got to be clear on is what your aims and expectations are, and then plan ahead so you can plan for periods of balance. Because when you run a self-employed business and it's all on you, and you're covering client delivery, coaching, sales, marketing, admin, which in turn is structuring everything, getting back to people, emails, content, all of that type of stuff, finances, accountancy, like there's that many plates that you're spinning. It's quite hard to gain that. But ultimately, with the help of us, you can do that. Is in a case of making sure that you're clear on your aims, clear on your expectations, clear on your plan. And then you can start to factor in, okay, this is where it will feel really balanced. And then this is where it feel out of sync and out of balance because you're working towards a launch, for example. Then we're going to get back in balance again. That's just self-employed life. Or you realign your expectations. Like we've worked with plenty of coaches who've gone, I'm going to coach 6 till 12, Monday to Friday. I'm going to do my own business time from 1 till 3. And then that's my life. I have Saturday, Sunday off. And I expect to earn between 3.5 and 5K a month. And I'm okay with that. And they have perfect balance. But there is still spikes of where it's unbalanced as well. Anything you'd add? Next question. How were all of your weekends? You got all dolled up there, son, didn't you? I seen you dolled up.
That's 9 o'clock, so I'm knackered.
What was that for?
It was like a gym Christmas party, basically, but we did it in
Really?
January, basically. So yeah, I think when you got round, because like 120 people, getting a location around Christmas for that amount of people at not ridiculous prices is quite difficult. There was a place where the owner of this it's like a hotel basically. They used to be a member, so they sort us out. Yeah, it was good. It was really funny, just a funny night, but very tired because I'm usually in bed at 9. Apart from that, I didn't do anything.
I've had a good weekend. Very, very busy. So I'm currently sat in Amsterdam
I've got a stag do later.
Have you? Do you know, this is my first time I've been, mate, and I've hardly seen anywhere at the minute just because we got in late on Saturday night, straight to the hotel. And then yesterday, Lexi wasn't racing so my daughter did HYROX Young Stars. So she raced yesterday at 2:30. She wanted to get in there early. So, because she was nervous, she wanted to get in there. So we were literally in the fucking arena at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So we were there all day. So we didn't see much yesterday. Apart from when she finished, we went into the centre. And now I'm working and them three are out exploring. To the note on the previous question, balance. Sometimes you've got to sacrifice shit, and it's just as simple as that. It's great that I'm here. Not so great that I'm not with the family, all the exploring, all of that. But you've got to fucking work. You've got to work sometimes. Anyway, so that's been class. It's been mega, but it's come at a very, very busy time with me personally, with this stuff and all of that. So it's been a bit hectic. So I've trained in 4 days. My sleep's been crap. But the experience of being here and watching her in her first race yesterday was just worth all of that. Yeah, it was mega. And honestly, mate, I just back up what you said about the event of Affect and HYROX. It's just the way they deliver it is just unreal. Because they managed yesterday, all of the adults one started yesterday here, and then they had the kids one in this other arena. So just thousands upon thousands, but it still went smoothly, like so smooth. But it was top, mega. Yeah, she's done really well. Next one. People are a bit shy with the questions, aren't they? Is it me or you?
I don't know, mate.
When you're looking for a new facility, what are some red flags in a gym that you'd look out for? I'm pretty sure my gym is a walking red flag. If you want a laugh, go and look at the review. Oh, I'm not going to say that out loud. Refuses to. Oh, right, okay. But go on, what's a red flag? Because this person's looking for a gym potentially as well.
I think what we mentioned previously to that question as well is like the people. There's a few people going through owner issues at the moment. The problem is, or one of the big problems is that gym owners, independent gym owners, are sometimes, coaches that have done really well and like fallen upon an opportunity, grabbed hold of it, but don't know how to run the business, which then trickles down into affecting you as a coach, like all members. So I absolutely, yes, the facility, but also like even with small group now, like you could pretty much label what the kit would be like, what style of kit would be, what's in there. There's not huge differentiators now with the type of quality that's coming out in a small group. So it would come down to the people for me. Like even if I'm just paying rent, I'm just walk in and out, still like that would be a big part of the puzzle for me, is because if they can't sustain their business, it's obviously going to affect you. Or if you want to go into a gym and run your business your way, you're going to have to ask permission to do certain things, and those things a lot of the time may conflict with what the gym's objective is or the owner's objective is, and that's where the conflict comes. So for me, I'd pay more to actually have a really good gym operator and facility owner versus less rent and have someone who is going to either restrict what I do, or I'm not confident with how they run the business, or like you said there, if like the reviews of like members are like terrible, and similar things to what you said then, if the churn's high from PTs, all that kind of stuff are massive red flags. So, and that all comes down to the owner and operating standards. So yeah, that absolutely would be the red flags. People, not the bricks and mortar or the kit. If you could travel back in time, where would you go?
Hard not to be for it to be a personal one, isn't it? Because the personal stuff means so much more than anything work related.
No,
Really?
No, man. Like I watched this podcast yesterday, and it was about some geezer who lives in the Amazon rainforest, like this American guy, and he comes into contact with like all the villages and stuff. And he was on this podcast because basically they came across a tribe who had never been in contact with the outside world ever. Right? This is how
much he hates people.
Yeah. And it was like their first interaction with anyone outside, blah, blah, blah. So it just got me thinking that I'd go back to the dinosaur ages, I would think. Yeah.
I didn't even think, no, because it's you travel back. Let me see the question.
If you could travel back in time.
Yeah, I suppose. Mine I'm dead sad, me, right? Because mine always would be like a period of time which is associated to some level of sport. It always would be.
When supposedly the pyramids were built.
Nah, honestly, I'd rather go back in time and see Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston. That period. Like a culture. Let's have a look. Yeah, if you're away for a few days during a sales period, do you still get back to inquiries or wait until you get back?
Depends how much you want the sales.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, like there's a lot of people who tend to book their holidays around when they're launching something. If you want the sales, you'll get back to people. If you aren't really fussed, then you'll wait. I mean, I think that's quite black and white, to be honest.
Hence me working on the day of a front end offer starting today. Sometimes it's got to be done. Like, you've got to take the sacrifice. It's how much you want it. And it does come back down to that. It sounds so wanky, but it does.
It does, yeah.
Be much easier for me to fuck this off today and go and do a day's holiday. But if there's shit to do, then it needs to get done. It's as simple as that. It comes back to that level of, like, accepting when you're self-employed. There is always going to be a lack of balance, unfortunately. That was the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. If you got this far, give us a review. I'm going to become obsessed with that now. And yeah, we will see you. No, it's not. I don't think there's going to be one next week, is there? We've got business review week.
Okay. 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, possibly. We might do a random one next week. Let's see. Right.
Laters.